Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected Chief Guest Abraham Tarian, former Executive Director of South Indian Bank, Engineer Punus George, Executive Chairman and Secretary of St. Gates Group of Professional Institutions, Professor Mini Punus, Governing Board Member and Director, School of Information Technology, Professor M.C. Joseph, Associate Director of St. Gates College of Applied Sciences, Dr. K.K. John, Principal of St. Gates College of Applied Science, beloved teachers, and my fellow friends, a warm good afternoon to you all. There are special moments and occasions in the life of every group that brings people together. Today is one such day when we felicitate the torchbearers of our college. A day without prayer is a day without blessing, and a life without prayer is a life without power. Bowing before the Almighty for all that He has given us, let's start this wonderful day with a strong prayer.
സച്ചരിതങ്ങൾ ഞാൻ പാടട്ടെ ഈശ്വര, സത്യമായി എന്നിൽ നിറഞ്ഞു നിൽപ്പൂ. നിത്യവും ജീവിത പാഠങ്ങൾ എന്നോട് ഹൃത്തിലിങ്ങോതുവാൻ നീ കനിയൂ. ഹൃത്തിലിങ്ങോതുവാൻ നീ കനിയൂ. നോവിന്റെ കണ്ണുനീർ കാണുന്നിടത്തെല്ലാം സ്നേഹത്തിൻ സാന്ത്വനമായി മാറാൻ. നോവിന്റെ കണ്ണുനീർ കാണുന്നിടത്തെല്ലാം സ്നേഹത്തിൻ സാന്ത്വനമായി മാറാൻ. കൂടെ ചിരിക്കാൻ കരയാൻ മനുജന്റെ വേദനയൊപ്പാൻ നീ ശക്തിയേകൂ. വേദനയൊപ്പാൻ നീ ശക്തിയേകൂ. സച്ചരിതങ്ങൾ ഞാൻ പാടട്ടെ ഈശ്വര, സത്യമായി എന്നിൽ നിറഞ്ഞു നിൽപ്പൂ.
Our principal, the pillar stone of our college, Dr. K.K. Johnson, I warmly welcome you for the welcome speech.
Thomas D. John, our director, beloved Executive Chairman, Engineer Punus George, Chief Guest of the day, Sri Abraham Tarian, former Executive Director of South Indian Bank Limited, Director of V-Guard Group of Industries, and friend of St. Gates Group of Professional Institutions. Mini Punus, member Governing Board of St. Gates Group of Institutions, my dear Associate Director, Professor M.C. Joseph, convener of today's program, Vidya Nair, dear rank holders, meritorious students, my faculty colleagues and colleagues in the administrative department, dear parents. A warm good afternoon to all of you. As far as St. Gates College of Applied Sciences is concerned, today it is a victor's day. We celebrate the victory day today. Our students of 2017-20 batch brought glory to their families and glory to our college. We are proud to say that this batch of students produced excellent results in the 6th semester examination conducted by Mahatma Gandhi University in March 2020. There are altogether 22 ranks, including 3 first ranks, 2 second ranks, and 2 third ranks. The first rank holders are Alvin Purivilla Varki of BCom Taxation, Kizia Mariam Saji of BCom Computer Application, and Reba Nurin Biju of BA Corporate Economics. The second rank holders are Anju Sara Manoj of BCom Taxation and Sangeeta M. Sajan of BA Corporate Economics. The third rank holders are Sneha Susan Sujoy of BCom Taxation and Ria Thomas of BA Corporate Economics. The BC students of our college brought glory to the college by bringing 100% mark with 6th rank. Similarly, the BBA students got 93% pass and 7th rank. The BA Corporate Economics students got 93.2% and the first positions in the university with A+. Last year, we were fortunate enough to organize a good function in the open auditorium to honor and greet the rank holders of 2019 batch. As you are aware, due to the COVID pandemic situation, we are incapable of honoring and bringing all the students to the campus. Hence, we meet all of you through online. Professor MC Joseph, Vincent Philip, and I are in Panambali Nagar in Kaidali Apartments, along with the chief guest of the day, Sri Abraham Thadian. As a principal, I salute all the rank holders who brought glory to the college and thank our beloved Joseph Sir and my colleagues who were behind the success story of the students. Now, let me come to my duty. Sir Thomas T. John, the director of St. Kitts Group of Institution, is always happy with the progress and the result of the St. Kitts College of Applied Sciences. Whenever he visits the college and whenever he speaks over phone, he used to empower, enlighten, and greet all our teachers and the principal. I am extremely happy to welcome you, sir, to this function. Engineer Punus George, our executive chairman, is a man of action. Now, as you know, there are 24 hours a day. Now, he works more than 90 hours a day, every day, for the success and growth of the entire St. Kitts group of institutions. Today, St. Kitts Engineering College, including the MCA department and MBA department, have been accredited with autonomous status. So he is the man behind, and similarly, he is striving hard to make St. Kitts College of Applied Sciences to the national standard. I welcome you, sir, and while thanking you for all the service, welcome you, sir, wholeheartedly. We have Sri Abraham Thadian, the former executive director of South Indian Bank, with us. My acquaintance with Sri Abraham Thadian starts in 2011 when he was appointed the executive director in South Indian Bank. The duo, Dr. V.A. Joseph as the MD and Abraham Thadian as executive director. The South Indian Bank Limited has made glorious achievements in terms of branch banking, in terms of shareholders' wealth, in terms of the changes in the logo and customer satisfaction. Now, I had occasion, 2 or 3 occasions of attending and inviting Abraham Thadian to St. Thomas College, Pala, where I was the head of the department. I was impressed by his eloquence and deep understanding of the economic situations and the banking sphere. Though he has studied BSc chemistry and MSc chemistry, he knew the chemistry of economics, he knew the chemistry of banking and the national economic issues. I am extremely happy, sir, to welcome you to this function. I also introduce Abraham Thadian as the son of Reverend Thadian Core Episcopal of the Malangada Syrian Church, Jacobite Church, and the Core Episcopal was a headmaster of an illustrious school, and I consider Abraham Thadian as the illustrious son of an illustrious father. Now, I am extremely happy to welcome Sri Abraham Thadian. Now, Professor MC Joseph is with us today. He is the associate director now. So, from the inception of the college in 2004, he was the backbone of the college. So, he is very much actively involved in the entire activities of the college. I am extremely happy, sir, to welcome to this August function. Now, we have Professor Mini Panus, member governing board and the director of School of Information Technology is with us. So in fact, she is a real friend of St. Gibbs College of Applied Sciences. He often visits and attends the staff meeting, the staff council meeting most often. I am extremely happy to welcome ma'am to this function. Now, I welcome all the rank holders who brought glory to the college. You are the real children of the college. Now you are the alumnus, you are the alumna, or altogether you are the alumni of the college. The success and growth of an eminent educational institution depends upon the prestige and glory of our alumni. We look forward to your tremendous growth and achievements in future. May God bless you, and we invite very cordially to this function. I also invite all your colleagues or your classmates or college mates, and under whose inspiration you were able to get the ranks. Similarly, I welcome all my faculty, colleagues, and members of the administrative staff. A special mention deserves Pilson Philip, who is the vibrant teacher in the campus, who always helps in all the club, curricular, and co-curricular activities. Similarly, I especially mention the efforts taken under the leadership of Vidya R. Nair for organizing this function. I invite all the members of the executive committee of PTA and all the students and parents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the warm words. We are gathered here to celebrate the achievement of the young SCASians who, through their persevering effort, has won ranks as well as accolades for our institution. Their truly deserving achievement reminds me of Napoleon's words, "Victory belongs to the most persevering." Now, let's go through a small presentation introducing our rank holders. Next, for felicitation, I call upon Engineer Purnus George, Executive Chairman and Secretary of St. Gibbs Group of Professional Institutions.
Don't worry. Respected chief guest, our dear friend, Sri Abraham Therian, former executive director of South Indian Bank, our principal, Dr. K.K. John, our associate director, Professor M.C. Joseph, esteemed faculty members, and dear students. It is always said that in the occasion of success, which is the after effect of hard work and blessings from the parents and the God Almighty, that we have to have occasion to celebrate. And today is such a day of celebration. We have been fortunate and we have been in the forefront of the commerce as well as other departments, educational courses in MG University with very good ranks. If you look at the results which was rolled out by our principal, we are having very good results, and that also with very high number of ranks. This was reported in the newspapers also, and actually we can say that we have been blessed with a continuous row of ranks for BCom taxation with the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 10, and with the other BCom computer applications with 1st, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. These are all university ranks. And BA corporate economics with 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Then BCA with 6th rank and BBA with 7th rank. And other students who have passed with flying colors. And this time we have very good placements. Unlike the usual arts and science college, we are having very good placement of our students placed in different organizations with different good salaries. So this all gives great satisfaction to the faculty as well as the management, and we are all happy that we have such good students with us and we have reaped the benefits of such achievements. In a way, this is also a reflection of the value system we follow in St. Kitts College of Applied Sciences. A value system which is of share and care and concern, which is of sharing our difficulties and troubles with others and get support so that we overcome all the difficulties. And this has given, I hope, a good foundation for the students of St. Kitts College of Applied Sciences who pass out this year to be confident in the troubles which they may face in their career or studies ahead. Our dear Associate Director, Professor M.C. Joseph, was the principal until last year from the formation of the institution, has tried his best to instill a sense of spirituality and values to the students. We are especially grateful to him. Similarly, our principal, Dr. John sir, he has always been active in bringing all these students for jumping higher and higher levels, aiming more and more to prove their ability. So I would like to thank on behalf of the management, both these persons as well as all the faculty on this joyous occasion. We are eager to hear our chief guest talk also. So let me conclude my address. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm pleased to welcome Sri Abraham Tarian, former Executive Director of South Indian Bank, for felicitating our rank holders.
Engineer Quintus George, the executive chairman of the whole group. Tom T. John, director of this famous institute. Professor M.C. Joseph, associate director. Mrs. Minnie Pinus, member of the governing body. Dear students, parents, faculty members, and rank holders. First of all, let me congratulate St. Kitts for organizing a meeting like this, honoring the rank holders in a situation where practically a meeting is almost an impossibility. But in that impossible situations also, you have made it. It is more colorful and it will have more visibility because it will be in the YouTube, it will be recorded, it will be there for years so that you can enjoy it. Possibly in a COVID, it was a non-COVID ordinary situation, it would have been in a hall and that meeting would have ended with that. But the COVID situation has given us more opportunities, I should say. So any situations, we can see the better part of the whole thing. And this seminar is a seminar and the award giving ceremony is a testimony to that. First of all, I should really congratulate the rank holders for the hard work they have put in, and they have brought glory to the institution where they are studying, and they have given a lot of pride to their parents who have been happy their children are doing so well. And to the rank holders, I can only say that these are the institutions which have built you up. And when you come to senior positions, you should always remember your professors, your teachers, your parents, and the great institution. I had a recent experience. A few years back when I was in South Indian Bank, I had to go and see Dr. Krishnadas, G. Krishnadas, who was the chairman of CL at that time, Cochin Airport, CL. I knew that he is from the school where I studied. He studied in a very ordinary Malayalam medium school in Nedumbasseri, where my father was the headmaster. So I took an old souvenir of the school, which was published in 1966, where his photo was there as a rank holder of the school. That also I carried with me when I went to see him. He was a former chairman of HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics, and a very brilliant scientist who studied all throughout his higher studies in US. And when I told him about the school, he became very happy to discuss the whole of his school experiences. Later, I showed him the souvenir. Then immediately he called his TA, asked him to take a photograph of the few of the photos of his teachers, few articles which was written during those times by his friends. And he was also happy to see his photo as a brilliant student who has come out of the school in flying colors. So these kind of incidents will be there in your memory. However big position you hold, still you will remember these kind of things, which will give you more kind of a reminiscence rather than your experiences at senior positions from there when you leave the organizations also. I remember even the whole of Kerala, the old students of various, the alumni of various colleges like UC College or St. Berkman's College or St. Thomas Pala or Maharaja's College, they are all having very active alumni for the reason because their students have come to very senior positions and they are so happy and proud to be associated with the college or the old students with whom they had stayed together or studied together. So this is a great opportunity that you will be able to have good memory or that so many people have been there with you online witnessing your rank holders honoring ceremony. I can only give one piece of advice to you: work hard, continue to work hard. In case you have not worked hard, you would not have reached what you have today. You be passionate about whatever you are doing. You should always have a sense of ownership on whatever projects you take up, and you should have a very high integrity, whatever positions you hold. And all these things definitely will give you much brighter future in the coming years. Wish you all the luck and all the best to be a great citizens of this new the nation after COVID. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I welcome the strength of our college, Professor M.C. Joseph, Associate Director of St. Gates College of Applied Sciences. Sir, we would definitely love to hear a few words from you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're audible, sir.
Okay.
You say. We can hear you. Finish it.
Hello.
Speak. We can hear you.
Uh, this is the most prestigious fair in a year of St. Gates College of Applied Sciences. Because every year this time, the media is full of news about അത് പല പ്രാവശ്യം മീഡിയ കണ്ടത് സെയിന്റ് കിറ്റ്സിൽ പെരുമഴ, റാങ്കുകളുടെ പെരുമഴ. സെയിന്റ് കിറ്റ്സിലെ festival of ranks. This year also I am very happy. Examine a whole choice of students and many catch up new heights.
I welcome Professor M.C. Joseph, Associate Director of St. Gates College of Applied Science, to speak few words for us.
Respected Chief Guest, Abraham Therian, the former Executive Director of South Indian Bank, Thomas T. Jones, our Director, our Executive Chairman, Engineer Prince George, Dr. K.K. John, our beloved Principal, respected PTA President and Executive Committee members of the PTA, Professor Many Punus, Roji sir, Anjali sir, faculty members, dear rank holders and beloved students. A warm good afternoon to all of you. I'm very much delighted to receive this gift check on behalf of our rank holders from Mr. Abraham Therian, former Executive Director of South Indian Bank. I express my sincere thanks to Abraham Therian for this, and I congratulate all our rank holders for this great achievement. These rank holders are a great source of inspiration and motivation to our students. I congratulate their parents and their departments for the role they have played in this spectacular achievement. This program will be followed by a webinar led by our chief guest, Mr. Abraham Therian. I thank the organizers and participants, and I wish this seminar all success. With these few words, I cut short. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to wish all three of you, the rank holders, a hearty congratulations. May life unfold for you in all its loveliness. May you find greater success in all that is to come. And may you find greater meaning and purpose as you contribute to the society. Now, I welcome our esteemed rank holders to share their experience and achievements with us. First, I welcome Alvin Kuruvilla-Workey, the pride of BCom taxation.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Warm greetings to all. It is indeed an honor for me to receive this particular award during these adverse conditions through this virtual meet. I am very thankful to all the organizers for honoring me for excelling in the responsibilities that was given to me. Being part of St. Kitts College of Applied Science has been a tremendous experience in my life. I'm especially grateful to some amazing people whose support is the reason why I'm here right now. Firstly, I would like to thank God Almighty, without whose blessings I won't been able to achieve this achievement in my life. Then I would like to thank our former CEO of St. Kitts Group of Institution, Lieutenant Colonel John Jacobs, without whom I won't been able to get an admission in this college. After my 12th, I had difficulties in finding an admission in colleges, but with his help, I was able to get an admission in this college. And also, he recommended me to the management for getting a scholarship. I'm very happy that I was able to make him happy because of my performance. Then I would like to thank all my faculties who teach me. From my first semester to my last semester, they were all very much supportive. In my initial days in my college, I was having various fears and doubts whether I would be able to cope up with the commerce subjects because I was coming from a science stream. But with the help of all my faculties, I was able to overcome these obstacles and achieve success in my studies. Not only in academics, but also in non-academics, they helped me a lot. I'm very much thankful to all of them. Then I would like to thank all my friends at St. Kitts College. They helped me a lot. They helped me in my studies as well as in other activities. Lastly, I would like to dedicate this achievement to my parents because they are the strength of my life, without whom I won't been able to achieve this success. This award, this achievement will always be dear to me. This will always motivate me to achieve more success in future. I would like to conclude my speech by saying the famous words, famous writings of the famous author Paulo Coelho, who said, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvin. Next, I call upon the gem of BCom computer application, Kesia Mariam Saji. Unfortunately, Kesia couldn't connect due to technical issues. So we'll move on to the pride of BA Corporate Economics, Reba Merin Biju.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Warm greetings to all. First of all, I would like to appreciate our college for taking the effort to conduct this program through online platform. 3 years of my education at St. Kitts has now become a fond memory, which I will hold very close to my heart. I am grateful to God Almighty, the management of St. Kitts, the faculty members, friends, and my family who have given me moral support, encouragement, and nurtured me to who I am today. It is, of course, an honor to be a part of a greater fraternity of role models and mentors, such as the faculty at St. Kitts, guided by our beloved principal, Dr. K.K. Johnson. It is with deepest gratitude I would like to thank SCAS family for felicitating us, and I wish the very best for the forthcoming years. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I call upon the gem of BCom computer application, Kesia Mariam Saji.
A very warm good afternoon to one and all. First of all, congratulations to all the real gems, the rank holders. And yes, we did it by the grace of God. Being a Scassian, my experience was extremely amazing. And this time, I owe to my all enthusiastic teachers for their time, effort, and patience for us. And also my parents for their aid and prayers all through this accomplishment. Also grateful to the management for conducting this program, even in this pandemic situation. And at last, a big special thanks to 2017-20 batch who fueled us with all our needs. Once again, thank you, SCAS. We did it all together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kesia. This day reminds us of what this institution stands for. We stand for the best in academics and for unending pursuit of excellence. We uphold the value of love, transformed into service and deeds of kindness. We try our best to shine a light in the world's darkness, in the hope that some poor soul somewhere may find comfort, joy, and cheer by us. Thank you very much. The webinar will be starting very shortly. the webinar being conducted by the BA Corporate Economics of St. Gates College of Applied Science in association with the IQAC Association. Financial institutions across the world are monitoring and dealing with the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. They are working to understand the immediate challenges to society and economy and the long-term impact on the interconnected financial system. They are using their expertise to help themselves and their customers to make good decisions in today's highly volatile operating environment. At a time of crisis, it is very important to share our insights and experience, helping each other to contain and mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on the financial system and the broader economy. Today, we have with us the much esteemed Sri Abraham Karyan, former Executive Director of South Indian Bank. He is an expert in the field of financial system, especially in the banking sector. Today, he'll share his insights and expertise for us to cope up with the situation in a more compatible way. Sir, I warmly welcome you.
Hello. Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. I can't see the slides are there. Yes, fine. Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. So good afternoon. So the rank holders honoring ceremony is over, and we are coming to business. Extremely happy to be involved in this seminar because this is having a lot of significance for everyday life for all of us. Basically, the impact of COVID world over has been something which we never visualized at all. During the last 150 years, nothing had happened so severe, affecting all the people all over the world, and that is why it's called a pandemic. And the impact of the COVID world over, I can show you in the next few slides. So before that, I go to that, I will explain what are the things I am going to explain today. One is the impact of COVID. Yeah, show me the next one. Show me the next slide. Yeah, the impact of COVID world over. Then the Indian situation, Indian scenario with regard to the COVID, the lockdown and the fall of GDP, and the economic package announced by the various countries, financial package announced by the Indian government, the relief and control measures by the state government, the monetary changes announced by the Reserve Bank of India. Can you show the next slide? Can you show the next slide? Hello? Can you show the next slide? Hello? No response. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. There is some technical issue.
Yeah. Is it over now? Or can I speak? Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If it's at any point of time, if you have a problem, how you will communicate with me? Can I give you my Filson will kindly contact Filson then. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please respond to me, but then it gives me a confidence that you are all with me. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
sir.
okay. So you will be the person who will be interacting with me. So it becomes easy. Yeah. Okay. So then we are also trying to explain to you the loan repayment moratorium announcements, extension of the moratorium, restructuring of loan repayments, and KV committee recommendations, intervention of the Supreme Court, and impact of COVID on the Indian industry and economy, and the common man's, the impact of the COVID on the common man and the new normals and the changed way of life, and the impact on the banks and financial market. In a very, very brief way, we will go for, and I will not take more than 45 minutes. And beyond that, we can have a question answer. I'll be happier with a question answer session, because I don't know whether I'm going overboard or whether above your head or below your head. Both I don't want. So unless you interact with me, it becomes little difficult for me. So the question answers I expect where we can have a more lively discussion, because there are inherent problems on a online talk like this, because I can't see the viewers. That's a big issue. Okay, now let's see the world over impact on COVID. Can you show the next slide? Next slide. Next one. Yeah. Okay. So this is the pandemic, the COVID-19, the impact, the latest position as on day before yesterday is, or even yesterday, this is the figure where all over the world, 3,27 lakhs of people have been affected by COVID. 3,27 lakhs of people are affected by COVID. And of which the list is, the top in the list is United States with 70 lakh people affected, and followed by India, unfortunately, with 59.92 lakhs of people. I actually it would have crossed today 60 lakhs. And then Brazil, 46.57 lakhs, Russia, 11 lakhs, and Colombia, 7.93 lakhs, Peru, 7.94 lakhs, Spain, 7.16 lakhs, Mexico, 7.15 lakhs, Argentina, 6.91 lakhs. The whole COVID started in China, but the impact of COVID in China, as on today, is one of the most minimum comparing to all these major the countries who are very badly affected. Now, the death part on account of this COVID all over the world, I'll show you in the next slide. Can you show? Hello? Yeah. This is the next slide where you have the world as on to the death till today is 9.91 lakhs is the total death all over the world till yesterday. 9.91 lakhs of people have died. United States with a death figure of 2 lakhs, 2.03 lakhs. Brazil 1.39 lakhs. India 94,000 people. Mexico 75,000 people. United Kingdom, UK 41,000 people. Italy 35,000 people. Peru 32,000 people. France is 31,000 people. And the death toll of China, as on today, is nothing comparing to the previous 3,500 figure or what we have been talking about. Is nothing today comparing to the other countries where the death has been much, much larger. And there is no, we can't see any end of the tunnel as far as this epidemic or pandemic is concerned, and also the affected people's numbers are concerned or the death are concerned. Okay. Now we will go to the next slide. Hello. Yeah. So based on this, before I go to this slide, don't look at the slide now, can listen to me. there had been the impact of the COVID was much more severe than what anybody in the earth thought of. We thought the whole COVID will be over within a month or 2 or 3. So nobody had a long-term plan at all, because the COVID is something which they never knew this fast it will cross the borders of all over the world. Even to Iceland also, there are people who are affected with COVID today. And it immediately, the impact was because the resultant action taken by the government, that is the lockdowns. The lockdowns were affected millions of people all over the world, especially in Europe, where they started in a serious way, because Italy, the deaths were very large and faster. Spain, it was very bad. UK, it was very bad. So they started with the lockdowns. US was a little reluctant. They are a little slow to implement the lockdown. India, we started it in a big bang lockdowns in the very beginning itself. From the month of March, if my memory is correct, from 10th of March or something, we started the lockdowns. And what a lockdown it was. There are no traffic, there are no schools, there are no theaters, there are no factories, there is no train, there is no plane. So it was totally locked down for the first initial months up to at least by the middle of the May. So then there came the problem, because this was done with a very good intention that it will not be spread provided there is a social distancing is there. But unfortunately, it didn't have the desired benefit, because a lot of people in the cities, especially the poor workers, they found it so difficult to live, because the options were only either to die out of COVID or die out of hunger. This kind of a situation came up, and thousands and thousands of people, migrant labor all over the metros like Delhi and Bombay and Ahmedabad, they walked and went by lorries and unauthorized transports and things like that, and they reached their destinations to meet their family, to have a living, because they didn't have work. There is no income. At least they will be able to sustain themselves. If they go back to the villages, at least they will be able to manage their food. So it is in such a scenario, thousands of people all over the world, all over the country, went back to their villages, making the lockdown more severe than what it was thought of. And in the process, the epidemic or the pandemic spread to the villages also. So in so many other places also than what it was expected to spread, it spread also. So that's why quite a lot of cities and towns in the North India also was very badly affected in the process. So finally it came to a situation, there is no job, there is no transport, there is no activity, and how you will make a living? And government asked the employers not to send off the people, but at the same time to pay the salary. But where is the salary they can make? Where the income they have generating? The shops are closed, they will not be able to sell their goods. There is no transportation available. In such a scenario, it was prudent, the government thought, that they should give some government package, economic assistance to them. As a process of that, the finance ministry made a series of announcements of the major ones, which has a financial implication. I am just explaining in this slide. One is the finance minister announced a collateral-free loan of 3 lakh crores for MSMEs, that is medium and small scale and micro enterprises. It is said to be that this move will likely to benefit around 45 lakhs of units, so they can resume the business. Actually, this was a very good move, because for this 3 lakh crores of fresh loan, they did not have to give any additional security. They have to sign only a few papers. And this is an additional money they used to get, which will help them to restart the business, as it was been locked down at least for a month or 2. This was the benefit of this 3 lakh crores of loan which was given to the banks, by the banks. But how the banks will give to in such a situation when the business is very poor? So the banks were given a guarantee by the government of India that whatever loan is given at a specific percentage of the total outstanding of the loan as on 29th of February, a percentage of a loan will be given additionally, 10 to 20%, and this amount will be, doesn't need a collateral, so the customer is given a protection. At the same time, the bank is given a protection by the fact that the loan, in case of non-repayment, it will be paid by the government of India. So it is a credit guaranteed kind of a scheme. Because of that, it became very attractive. Actually, thousands of people have utilized the funds. They have put a earmarked 3 lakh crores of rupees for this. I don't know where it has reached now, how much they have availed and what is the balance left, I do not know. It will be, the figures will come later only because this is applicable up to October 30th. And the government also reduced the percentage of provident fund so that the government will not, each company will not have to give, will have to give only a lesser amount of percentage of salary as PF. And the same way, the people also will get more amount at hand because their PF deduction will be less. So by 2% PF deduction was given to each employee, which also was a temporary measure. It has a long term, it is a negative impact, but at least to that extent, some extra amount will be coming to the hands of the people. The third one was they made the assistance for liquidity for the power distribution companies. Power distribution companies is basically are the people who are distributing electricity. And for electricity, basically we have to, the consumption came down like anything. The commercial consumption became almost zero. The companies were not utilizing the power at all because the machineries were not working. So they were not getting any income. There is no electricity charges. And ordinary consumers, householders, etc., they were also finding it difficult to pay. So in the process, the electricity distributing companies will have to close down. In such a situation, Government of India gave a 90,000 crores liquidity for the power distribution companies through power finance corporations and similar companies. Government also gave a 30,000 crores liquidity to push banking, non-banking finance companies, because poor people generally take loans from non-banking finance companies for the simple reason, or microfinance companies for the simple reason they are very tough to recover the money, but at the same time their procedures are much faster. So people generally they don't want to lose their working days going to a bank. They will go to Muthoot or Manappuram or Bajaj or some places like that, give their gold ornaments or give a vehicle or take a vehicle loan and things like that. So large number of people are availing these facilities from the NBFCs, and banks will in turn give them loan. This is the pattern. So in short, they were the intermediaries between the poor man or the lower middle class people generally and the banks. So banks will give them a loan at the rate of 12%. They will give the loan at the rate of 18% or 20%, and the spread will be the benefit they get for taking this kind of a risk. And so there will be a good, if there is a good recovery mechanism, especially for gold loan companies, etc., the money will always come back because the gold price, fortunately, has been going up all throughout, very high during the last 1 year. So the NBFCs, but other than non-gold companies who are giving loans, clean loans, other than without the gold, the repayments were very slow. So in order to, the company doesn't fail, the NBFCs doesn't fail, they gave this kind of a large liquidity help through the banks by the government of India. Can you go to the next slide? Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. And there is a lot of agricultural infrastructure fund of 1 lakh crores are also given to the agriculture sector for fast movement of goods and for infrastructural development related to agriculture. Can you hear? Can you hear?
Yes, sir, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah. Is there any problem? If you have till now, whatever I have said, if you have any kind of a doubt or any kind of a clarification or any comment to make, if you can make, it becomes more lively. If anybody can venture out, even if the questions are very simple, don't worry. It will activate the whole group who are sitting in various places. If anybody can venture out and ask something on whatever I have told till today, till now, if you can react, it will be nice. Anybody can do that? Hello? Can you hear me? Can they hear me? I don't know.
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yes, please. What's your good
So
name?
the common
What's
Rashmi,
your
sir.
good name? Yes, you are in the,
Rashmi. I'm a faculty of corporate economics.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, tell me.
Okay. So the common man, they are not in a position to repay the loans immediately after the cancellation of moratoriums in this situation. So how badly can it affect the lending capacity of banks?
Okay, your question is very relevant, but my answer is coming in the next slides. I will explain to you that. Yeah, good question. I'll be able to explain it. Yeah, can you show the next slide? Yeah. So these are to answer the questions of Rashmi. Now I will give you what are the Reserve Bank of India has done. The government of India, whatever I have done, I have already explained. Government will do things which are fiscal measures they do on account of taxes or on account of grants and so many things like that. But as far as banks are concerned, banks cannot give any assistance that way. They can give only loans. So what they did was, the monetary policy meeting was advanced. It should have been done only in the month of April end or something. They preponed it to early April, and they had an urgent meeting. And there, first of all, the interest rates, repo rates were reduced by 0.75%. That is, the repo rate was 5.15%, which was reduced to 4.4%. The repo rate, the implication is, this is the rate at which banks will get finance from the Reserve Bank of India on pledge of the government securities. So they used to get loan. If they have a shortage of loan amount, they go to bank, take a loan, which is called repo rate, at the repo rate, and repo rate was 5.15. They reduced the repo rate from 5.15 to 4.4. That is almost a 3/4 percentage, less than 1% was reduced. 1% from almost 0.75% out of basis point means percentage, basically 0.75 basis point. Less than 1% is always called the basis point. That is 75 basis point means 0.75%. So 0.75% was reduced from 5.15%, which is a substantial reduction. Normally they used to reduce the percentage by 0.20% or 0.25%. One or two times they have done 0.50%, 0.5%. But this time they have done almost 1/4%. Almost this is 1/4% they have done. So then banks will get a cheaper funds. Then accordingly, banks can give loan at a 1/4% or 1/2% less to the borrowers. That is one aspect they did. Then there is a concept called reverse repo. What is repo? I told you, banks can get loan by giving the government paper and at a rate specified at this percentage of repo rate. The same way, if banks have a lot of money, at the same time there is no borrower, sufficient borrowers are not there and the excess is there, this excess you can give deposit in the Reserve Bank of India. When they give a rate of interest to us, that is called the reverse repo rate. So this reverse repo rate was 4.90%, which was reduced by 90 basis points or 0.90% and made it to 4%. So if the bank is not, if your bank is giving a loan, definitely they will get 8% or something. So if the repo rate is, earlier repo rate, they would have got almost 5%. They reduced it to 4% so that banks will force to give loans to people rather than keeping back the money in deposit. Even if at the cost of some loss to the bank, they may do it so that in a risky atmosphere, they may not like to sell. But to make it unattractive for them to invest back into the Reserve Bank of India, they reduced the repo rate. Reverse repo rate. So reverse repo rate was cut more was that the banks could incentivize to lend. And the cash reserve ratio of all banks were reduced by 100 basis points or 1%. That is what is CRR? It's a very simple mechanism. Suppose you have 100 rupees deposit with us. We can, first of all, 4 rupees the bank has to invest in the Reserve Bank of India. That's a compulsory thing. The balance amount only you should be able to give a loan. But that also after keeping another percentage of SLR, which is generally between 15 to 19 to 20. Earlier it was almost very high as 35%, etc. many years back. Now this SLR and CRR will take away the money to the extent of around 30% or 25% from the banks to the government. So this 4% will be kept in the Reserve Bank of India's current account. The banks are maintaining a current account in the Reserve Bank of India where this cash will be kept, and SLR will be this will be the way in which Government of India is taking loan by way of bonds. So this money is taken from the bank, and bank is given a bond or a government security to the bank. This is SLR securities. So in short, whenever a depositor puts money in a commercial bank, in a scheduled commercial bank, a lot of that money, a part of that money is going to Government of India for their developmental activities. This is the interesting point of, and that is by way of a bond, and the government will give back because the President of India is guaranteeing the loan. It is signed by the President of India on behalf of the President of India. This is the SLR securities. So they didn't do anything on the SLR at this time, but they reduced the CRR so that more money, instead of 100 rupees you are getting, instead of keeping 4 rupees to the government, you need to give only 3 rupees to the government. So 1 rupee extra will be there with the bank to lend more. Why this 1 rupee? What makes a difficult difference, you might think. But you should imagine the total bank deposit of the country is more than 120 lakhs crores. So in such a large kind of a amount, this 1% will make a lot of difference, and that additional 1% will give a lot of money to the banking system to lend. So the Reserve Bank was trying to understand, trying to make sure that there is enough liquidity in the system. The bank should lend, bank has enough money in their hands to lend, so that customer will not suffer. This is the concept, and these are all the monetary policies the Government of India does, and all these monetary policies they do through the credit policy they announce every once in 2 months. And it is announced by the Reserve Bank of India governor, and he is assisted by a monetary policy committee is there, which includes all economists and things like that. Earlier it was the prerogative of the Reserve Bank of India governor himself. Now it's a committee is handling it, and committee majority vote will be there, and if there is a tie is there, the governor will use his vote. This is how it is. So if there is a difference of opinion on the reduction or anything like that sort. Actually, the credit policy of this 2 month by month should have been there yesterday. but they cancelled it and postponed to next week because of some technical issues, because of their MPC members, few of them, there is an expiry of their period. The new persons have been selected, but they have not been properly inducted to the committee because there is a lot of procedure. Possibly another 1 week will be there within which a new policy will come. And once the policy, I don't know what they are going to do about that, whether they will further reduce the interest rates, we don't know. Okay, so this was the credit policy which they made in April. And the last one was they made a 3-month moratorium. That is what Rashmi was asking. Moratorium for payment. That is, whoever has taken a loan from the bank, you don't have to pay the principal or the interest for the next 3 months. That is from March 1st onwards. March, April, May 30th, May 31st. 3 months, because they are not getting salary. There is a total lockdown, so they won't be able to do anything. The producers will not be able to produce anything. Agriculturalists will find it difficult to sell their products. Factories will not be able to sell their manufacture. Retail shops will not be able to sell. So all these issues together, they gave a concession in repayment time to the extent of 3 months, in the hope that the bank, we will be able to tide over the difficulty within these 3 months. But unfortunately, by 31st May, the issue did not become okay. It was getting worse. In the process, again in May, they had another credit policy meeting was there. Credit policy meeting was there, and that credit policy meeting further reduced the repo rate by another 0.4% or 40 basis points, and hence now the repo rate is 4%. So this was done so that again the interest rates has to come down to the customer. So it was from within 3 months, actually 5.15 was reduced to 4%. That is in the minus 4%, 0.4% was done in the month of May. Not only that, they found that the epidemic is not going at all. This pandemic is going to be spreading more, and the lockdown is going to make a serious impact. They thought this lockdown will not be a solution forever. So they wanted to open up the economy. Slowly they started opening up the economy. They allowed flights, they allowed shops to open, they allowed supermarkets to open, slowly with a lot of controls. They allowed factories to open with a less number of people. They allowed offices to open with a lesser number of percentage of people coming on shift. Suppose 100 people are there, first 50 people, let them come on the first day, second day let the other 50 come, like that. So many things, so that the social distance is being reasonably taken care. At the same time, this lockdown will make a problem. There will be people who will die of starvation, and to avoid that, they made this kind of a liberalization lockdown, and at the same time, they extended the moratorium by another 3 months. That is, from May 31st, it was went to August 31st. So 3 more months, they allowed the moratorium. So whoever have taken a loan on 1st of March, or some loan is outstanding, old loans are outstanding up to 31st March, none of them has to pay the money during the month of March, April, May, June, July, August, July and August. 6 months, because first 3 months they gave the moratorium, then one more moratorium was given 3 months, which was ending on 31st of August. So this was what has been happening with regard to the moratorium until till now. Can you go to the next slide? Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. This is, I'll come back to whatever I have been talking, but for a continuity situation, I would like to discuss this part also. This is the GDP of each country. The top GDP of each country. The top countries, the list of top countries where the GDPs are very high. The first is United States, which has got a 37 trillion, $87.26 trillion is their GDP. Everything is given in dollars to have a common currency. European Union, all put European Union together, it is 18. United States, out of the world GDP of 87 trillion, US is having 21 trillion. Europe means most of the countries in Europe. There is a European Union, that countries together. That is other than UK, which is a part of the Brexit, it has to come. It has not. The other countries together, it is 18 trillion. China alone is 14 trillion. Japan is 5 trillion. Germany is 3.86 trillion. India is 2.93 trillion. And United Kingdom is less than us. UK is 2.74 trillion. And France is 2.70 trillion. Actually, we are almost in bracket, almost the same kind of a GDP, along with France, UK, and India. All the three are almost competitors. So sometimes UK will overtake us, sometimes France will overtake us. As on today, we are the fifth among the top GDP countries. GDP is a measurement of wealth, I should say. But you should also understand, Japan with a much lesser population, they have this wealth, GDP. Wealth is not the right way of explaining, but in a layman's language, I was trying to explain that. But this Japan is having 5 trillion with much lesser number of people, whereas India with 130 crores of people, we are having this GDP of 2.93 trillion. Anyway, that is incidental. So India is the fifth country, and at the same time, much countries are much lower than us. Pakistan is very lower than us. So many. Even all Gulf countries are much lower than our country. We are one of the richest nations because our GDP is very large. Because of that, the whole world look us as one of the leaders as far as the economic size is concerned. So this 2.9 trillion only last budget, we are trying to make it $5 trillion economy. But unfortunately, although we had big expectations, unfortunately, because of this COVID, there is a reduction in the GDP. And after the first quarter, the GDP has come down by 23%. 23.9% reduction was there in the GDP. Then from last June figure and to this June, corresponding June 30th figure, there is a reduction of 23%. Not 0.23, 23%. So there is a huge reduction of the GDP there. But unfortunately, all the countries are having this problem. All the countries are having a reduction because of the epidemic. But China's reduction has been very little. In US, it is very badly affected. Europe is very badly affected. Japan, very badly affected. Germany, very badly affected. And India, very bad situation. But China has their reduction has been very little. Why I am saying this is, it is with that kind of a financial power only we can help our citizens. So who are very rich, they can put a lot of money to help in a COVID situation to their citizen. India is much more a smaller country with a smaller GDP comparing to the other big four people. And the gap is very high. So we can't afford whatever US is doing in the epidemic to help the people. US has been paying a non-payment salary of, if my memory is correct, I have read it a few months back only, $1,500 to every individual beyond up to above the age of 18. Every month they are paying. So if the job loss is there is nothing. With a family of two, they get $3,000. It's more than enough for them to live. But this kind of a situation is not there in India. We can't afford. Our GDP is not that high. And at the same time, our population is very large. Now we go to the next slide. Hello. Yeah. So here, the Japan has, the US has put 13% of their GDP for stimulus measures to fight out COVID. Sweden has put 12% of their GDP. Japan has paid 21% of their GDP. Germany has paid 10% of their GDP. India has paid 10% of our GDP. And France, 9.3%. Spain, 7.3%. Italy, 5.7%. UK, 5.5%. China, 3.8% only they have spent because they didn't have that kind of a problem, although they were the country where it all started. Korea, 0.2%. So India's GDP, 10% roughly come to 20 lakhs crores because 200 lakhs crores is our GDP now. So it's almost 20 lakhs of crores, almost 10% we have given in the form of these kind of packages. But the package given by the US and the package given by India are totally slightly different because US gave that money from their pocket, non-refundable kind of a money. But here we are giving it as a loan because government doesn't have that kind of money. They are directing the banks, you pay the money, we will guarantee. So the incentive, although we say with the big voice we make on 20 lakhs crores of incentive, actually banks, government's real dispersal for the COVID is much lower amounts because these are all paid by the banks. And bank has to recover the money from the customer later. Only thing is that banks, if they are losing the money, government will give you the money. This is all what they say. But bank will take all recovery measures later, not now. This is the after the due date, and the due date there is a 2-year period or something is given, and after that this will be given. This is the point. So will you go back to the next slide? Now, this is a little above your head. I mean, I would say only something like this. There is a financial stability report has to be made by the Reserve Bank of India to Government of India every year. There they have to say how stable is our banking system, how stable is our financial systems by mutual funds or share market or NBFCs and things like that. So they have said that the gross in the NPA for the banks will go up by from the present 8.5% to 12.5% by March 2021, and it may even go not only 12.5%, but it may even escalate to 14.7% under severe stressed scenario on account of the COVID. So this is a concern for us. Although things are not that bad today, if the situation is going to be this bad and continues to be bad, the banking system will have a lot of challenges because much more larger number of people will be unable to pay back their money, and our NPAs will come down, they will go up, and the bank's profitability will go down, and the bank's capital will be eroded because of ultimately the losses will be recovered from the capital or the net reserves. And finally, banks will not have the sufficient funds, and to take care, the Government of India will have to give them recapitalization money for the nationalized banks and or take over the small banks if they have a problem with regard to the maneuverability or they having a financial crunch or they cannot further go further. A situation comes, one of the nationalized banks will take over them, and again the nationalized banks will have to be given the money. Where the money is coming? The money will be coming by taxes, additional taxes to the common man again. So this is a concern not only for the bankers or the Reserve Bank of India, ultimately this can affect the common man if the trend continues, because that will ultimately result in the banks loans becoming more and more unviable, and more NPAs will come, and from 6%, 8.5% today, it can even reach 14%. Suppose 100 rupees is your loan which you have given, 85 rupees only you will be able to get back. It's a bad situation. As far as depositors are concerned, depositors will have to be paid the full amount plus interest. So, but at the same time, Indian banking industry is one of the strongest in the world, and till today, there is no failure in the banking industry after 1960. Any bank which is having a problem, which was taken over by the Reserve Bank of India's instruction by other banks. The recent one is Yes Bank. They had a lot of problems. They had a lot of corporate governance issues. They had huge losses and large NPAs. And they could not sustain themselves. At the same time, the bank was very large. So they were taken over by putting various banks putting so much money, and that bank was, the capital was funded largely by State Bank of India and HDFC. Even Federal Bank has given 5 crores for that as a capital. So this is the, so banks are, don't be worried about banks becoming banks will fail, etc. Banks will not fail. The government will ensure that it doesn't happen. But at the same time, banks, to sustain the banks, Reserve Bank of India, the government of India will have to fund them, and that funding can happen by further loans by the government or further taxes from the taxpayers' money. They do that. This is the unfortunate part of it. So economy, it will be a very bad barometer. Yeah. Can you come back to the next one? Yeah. Here, I mean, these are all little, not much of a relevance to you. I'll skip it. If you have any doubts, you can ask later, because I have to finish few more. Can you go back to the, yeah, next one? Can you show the slide? Yeah. Looking ahead, well, now all the governments, whether it is Narendra Modi government or whether it is it's a US government or it's UK government or European governments, everybody is there, premonitions were going wrong. So it's not a mistake of an individual or a country leader, because this pandemic has been so uncertain. When it was affected, we never had something like this similar. So we never knew what is going to be the impact. We never knew how it is being spread. Some still say it is not through air, but at the same time through the droplets or whatever, but that also will be passing through the air. So what are the solutions? Nobody is able to show the vaccine. Nobody is having a proper treatment. But the benefit is, the comforting fact is that almost 90% of people are recovering. But the old age people, the senior citizens especially, and people affected with the diabetics or liver diseases or heart attack, they are all prone to this disease. And once they get affected, the risk is much more in those kind of categories. That is why we suggest that our seniors, your parents, etc., they are not allowed to go out by the children themselves. They don't allow them to go out, because the risk on them is much more than a risk on a youngster who gets this COVID. He gets out of it in the normal case, provided their sufficient care is being taken. But the best way is to avoid that. That is why the social distancing has been done. And but even today, nobody knows. And there are some situations where the COVID has affected the people who have already been affected. And different types of variations of virus has taken place. The variations and developmental further kind of, I don't know what it is called, the change in the profile of the virus has happened in many places. So we don't know where we are heading to. This is the one very, very bad and uncertain aspect which is affecting all over the world. And finally, it will have a recession. The second, can you go back? Yeah. No. Next one. I have not completed that. Next one. Next one. No. Last but the ഏറ്റവും അവസാനത്തിന് താങ്ക് യു എഴുതിക്കുന്നതിന് മുമ്പുള്ളത് അതല്ല, അതുമല്ല. Yes, yeah, the other one. Yeah. So I was talking about the all government skip. Can you hear me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
No, but why you are not changing the slide?
1 second, sir. Sanal, sir?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
This
okay,
one,
sir,
this
okay,
one, this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah. And the next is so what is ultimately is going to happen with the process? There is a total unemployment. There is a lot of lack of production. There is no money for affordability for people to spend money. So the production will come down. The consumption will come down. The exports will come down. The imports will come down. And finally, it may go to a global recession and unemployment. And countries like us, which depend quite a lot on other countries' business, like for IT. If IT is not doing well, India has to suffer. Indian large countries with a large number of service industry related people are working from India. Indians are known for their knowledge on IT. They will lose their jobs. If the company doesn't need the business is not there, the company may not need a computer or a new program. So this ultimately, this will have a very bad effect on the major global recession. It may go to. Second is the declining global and Indian GDP. I told you the figures earlier. The GDP figures are coming down drastically. The already $3 trillion world GDP has already come down. India, I told you, 23% has come down up to for the first 3 months, corresponding to last June to this June. And September is the next quarter where we measure it. That is, it is from tomorrow. Till tomorrow's business, we will be learning about the GDP within another month or so. But since we have lockdown has been partially removed from June onwards, July, August, September would have been a better months because some amount of a partial production has been taking place. And because of that, we don't expect the GDP to be that bad for the next quarter. By September, compared to the last September, we are all expecting the GDP to be only minus 10%, not minus 23%. And by end of the year, if it doesn't spread much more than what it is, we should be able to have a zero growth or almost as last year's GDP. But it all depends on the figures up to till today, that is 30th, up to 30th GDP figures will be published in the month of, after a month or so. Then we will know where we stand up to September. Based on that, people will be making forecasts. The Reserve Bank of India will be making further incentives. The Reserve Bank, these kind of things will be happening. I have not completed. And so ultimately, the declining on the global and the Indian GDP is going to be the biggest problem. If global GDP goes down, definitely it will affect the Indian economy, Indian GDP, because we are so much dependent on them. So, and ultimately, the only solution is basically hoping for a light at the end of the tunnel is a COVID vaccine. So many people are working on it, but nothing has happened so far. So possibly another 2-3, some advancement is already there. In case we find a COVID solution, COVID vaccine, another 6 months possibly, we should be able to control this disease. Will you go back to the first slide? A few more points I have to discuss, then we'll conclude for your question and answer. First slide. Before that, you go back, a little more. Yeah, the second one. Yeah, okay, then second one, next one. I explained up to the financial package. I explained the monetary policy. I did not, yeah. Now, loan repayment, the moratorium announcements I explained. Extension of moratorium I explained. Here onwards, I will give you some small this thing. The time is getting up. So possibly another 10 minutes I'll do that. That is, now on 31st, the moratorium was over. Then people are wondering whether there will be a further moratorium. Reserve Bank of India asked banks. Banks asked the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce asked their member industries. Industries asked their retail shops. So everybody was saying one thing. There is no point in permanently doing a moratorium on loans. So finally, the whole money will divert. Some people will overspend somewhere else. They are not disciplined well. There will be a problem. Tomorrow, the bank loans will become a bigger issue. So moratorium, some people are not affected by COVID. Why should we give moratorium to all the people? Now you know how the way it is going. So why not we have a stop the moratorium? So 31st of August, the Reserve Bank of India stopped the moratorium. So not, from 1st of September, everybody has to pay the money, the principal plus interest from 1st of September. So 3 months, the 6 months interest will be kept as a separate loan, which will also be to be repaid. This is the plan. So it will be no more moratorium. But at the same time, some industries having a lot of problem. Industries like hotels are not yet open. 5-star hotels are there. It's all open. Nobody is coming there. There is no flights coming from abroad. So there is no tourists are coming to India. What will Taj will do if all the tourists are not there? Who will go and stay there now? Thousands and thousands of large hotels, medium hotels, small time hotels. Then the salesman working in small places, taking small lodges. Hotel industry like that. What about cars? What about buses? Buses are not flying. So how can Ashok Leyland make more vehicles? Or Bajaj makes more tempos? So this is another issue. The only good point is the two-wheeler companies had a lot of benefit because people started buying larger number of two-wheelers because the people are afraid to go by buses and trains. So the two-wheeler industry has been doing reasonably well, and cars like Maruti and cars companies like that, low-end models, lower-end models have a good demand is there. But higher-end models, there is no demand at all. And the final part is the petroleum prices. The petroleum prices, global demand is not there for all over the world is closed. So the petrol is no more required because there is less traffic all over the world. There is production all over the world. There is no planes flying needing the aviation spirit. So the petrol demand came down substantially during the last 6 months. And the petrol prices from $50 a barrel, it came down to almost $25 a barrel at one time. Now it is roughly around $38, $40. But we are paying more money for petrol. The reason being, whatever reduction is there, that benefit of reduction government is not giving us. That reduction, to that extent, they will increase the taxes and they are taking back the money from us so that this petrol has become one of the major sources for the government's additional taxes for all the losses. Because they don't get income tax. Income tax is not getting whatever targets we had for income tax, it has come down. Whatever GST, the sales are not taking place, there is a GST has come down. The easiest way to squeeze people is the petrol. So petrol, they go and increase the price. Every liter, if you 1 rupee, you are paying how many liters and how many people all over the India is paying. So all this burden is ultimately reaching the common man today. Already we are paying it. In spite of the petrol benefit we had, but the price crude oil has come down, we don't get the benefit. Not only that, we are paying almost 250% more than the actual price when we are giving a 70 or 75 rupees a liter for petrol. Out of that, 1/3 is the actual cost India government is paying, and the rest of it is all taxes. The entertainment industry, theaters, film making, everywhere there is a total failure. So only one of the industry which is doing well is possibly drug industry because COVID vaccine and COVID related medicines are being researched, etc. The prices are more, and sanitization or mask business, these are all business which has gone up, but major business are all come down. So to industries which are having a real problem like hotel industry, they are going to restructure the loans, not to everybody. Up to 31st August, everybody has given a moratorium. They have to pay the money. Till now, we don't pay. But 1st September onwards, they have to pay. But some industries which are really affected, they can go back to the bank. The Reserve Bank of India has given a scheme for restructuring of the loans. And that scheme is worked out with the expertise opinion by Sri K.V. Kamath, the former chairman of ICICI Bank, and who was the chief executive of the BRIC Bank of China and India and Bangladesh and Pakistan all put together. So he was heading that till few months back. He has come back to India. He has been given and entrusted to prepare a report. He prepared the report and he gave it. And based on that, new guidelines will be issued by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, in the meanwhile, few Malayalis are also there in the process. They have made a case in the Supreme Court. They said, we are all having a problem of lockdown. You are given a moratorium. Moratorium doesn't mean anything to us. You are paying us, we have to pay the interest later. So how we are able to make this money for the interest? We have not been working. We have not been getting salary. There has not been no production. Why should they pay interest for this COVID period? So please ask banks to stop payment of demanding interest for the COVID period. So there is a case going in the Supreme Court now. Yesterday was the day they were supposed to have a judgment on that. But Government of India approached the Supreme Court yesterday and said, give me a little more time. We will come back with some solutions. Please bear with us for one more week. So Supreme Court has given a little more time for them to give an answer. So based on that answer, we know whether we will have to pay interest for the moratorium period. But 99% of the situation, Reserve Bank will not be able to say, don't pay the interest. There could be some concession on interest, the compounding effect on the interest, possibly at the poor sections of people, possibly they may come with some judgment, giving some protection, and banks cannot do that. Bank is already having a problem. So Government of India will have to pay that much money to the bank, and they're asking banks not to charge, demand it from them, you take it from me. Like that government can say. So this kind of an advice government may say to Supreme Court, we don't know, this is only an assumption. Supreme Court judgment will come in by next week. This is all, so these are the points with regard to the industry and economy, and the common man, and the things are, we have changed, our way of life has totally changed. We don't travel, we don't go for a movie, we don't go for eating out, we don't have a coffee session or a beer session or whatever it is, we don't have any of those things, no guests at home. So the whole life, we don't even walk through the streets. So even today, earlier we were afraid of the police and we are not doing it. Now we ourselves are afraid whether we should do. Why we should not go out with a mask? We should not go out and socialize with people. We should not get into a crowd. So that the Indian way of life. So we have not seen marriages. We have seen our relatives' marriages, how with pomp and show it has been happening, such great affairs. And film theaters and movie theaters, how many kind of thousands of people will be there for the best favorite stars acting in movies. But no more, the theaters are empty, hotels are empty, transport is nil. So public transport is almost nil. So, or even 20%. So with 20% people, how can a private transport industry run? So we have a new normal. People started walking, or people started doing cycling. The men started helping their wives in cooking because they have nothing else to do at home. So the children started working. They started doing quite a lot of good things and innovations and small innovations they do. Because we have to keep ourselves engaged. And the digital platform is one area. Even today, I'm speaking to you in a situation like this because we we never would have thought about this, because I would have come to Kottayam and given a talk to you. But now we are not able to. The biggest companies, their board meetings done by by the Reserve Bank of India or by the Reliance Group is the annual Jal Body meetings are online. So the digital world has improvised a lot. Banking has become so much digitalized. Even common man started working for banking operations through mobile. Mobile companies are doing extremely large kind of Wi-Fi connections they are getting. So the whole world, our pattern of life has changed. Nobody goes to churches. We see the Kurbana watching on the TV or on the YouTube. Our seniors were not allowed to go to the church at all. So the whole world of entertainment or spirituality or everything, there is a lot of turnaround is happening, and we don't know after all these, after a few more months, whether we will go back, when we can go back. There is no specific date when we can go back. So this is the world of COVID. But with all this, we have to be hopeful, we have to work hard, we have to, whoever is doing well even during these days, when you are able to study well and read well and watch the TV, serious programs, nice informations you can gather from YouTube or on the TV, CNBC, or good English languages, good books you can use. So the whole world you can make it to a better life in the coming years, in case you plan these kind of periods, difficult times, with a lot of goal and specific determination. Is all what I can say. I will be very happy to interact with you through questions. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Participants have raised few questions, so we are moving on to the question and answer session.
Yeah.
So there's a question from Dr. KK John. During the moratorium period, the borrowers do not repay interest and principal amount.
Yeah.
But once the moratorium is lifted, the burden of borrowers will increase. And suppose if they are not repaying, the financial position of the banks will be worsened.
Yes.
So how do the government and RBI tackle this situation?
This is part of it I explained. I can repeat that. Basically, because of that, the banks cannot say they don't give interest, because with the interest is their income. With that only they can pay the interest to the depositor. For example, I'll tell you, 100 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, you as a retired person, one person gave on his retirement benefit of 1 lakh, he put in a bank for a 5-year period. It's an intention that he gets 10,000 rupees from it, or 10 lakhs he put it so that he will get 1 lakh interest. So the monthly he will get 10,000 rupees, roughly, let's say. The interest rates have come down now. Now the interest rates are only 6%, so they will get only 6,000 rupees per month anyway. But how the bank will give the 6,000 unless that loan is given to somebody, and from that loan the interest is received by the bank from the borrower? How the bank is going to make the money? Bank is not creating money. They are only the intermediary, just like a broker. He is accepting the deposit at one hand at 8 rupees, 8% of interest, and he charges 12% to the borrower. 4% he has got 4 rupees. With that 4 rupees, he manages to per 100 rupees he gets 4 rupees. From that 4 rupees, he has to pay for his salary, for the building, rent, technology bills, PF, pension for the employees, and bad loans. You have to write off some amount, should be there for providing for that, for genuine failure of business. So banks are only an intermediary. They can't afford to do any concession. What government can do is, because of the Supreme Court ruling, Supreme Court was little angry towards the government of India. Why? What you are doing? The poor people are doing, suffering, and how can they pay the interest? Supreme Court was asking them. At the same time, government cannot ask the banks to pay it, because government knows the precarious position. They have been paying from their taxes. They have been capitalizing the banks. So what they did is, they told them for some time, 2 months or something like that, for a week, to give an explanation, possibly as an incentive, some amount of interest on interest or something like that. Interest on interest itself will come to 2,000 crores or something. So for this few months period or something, for a lower level kind of a borrowers, they may be giving, we do not know. So there is a problem. There is no doubt about it. The professor's question is very relevant. There is a problem. But how can bank do that? Bank doesn't have money. Banks are making losses. Among 60% of the banking is done through nationalized banks. How do these banks? All the banks have been amalgamated and merged and all. Now the entity has become very small. Including State Bank of India in 2018, everybody was making a loss except Vijaya Bank, one bank, small profit, small bank. All others were making losses. And losses, how is being covered? They demand it from the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India pays to them to get back the capital. If the capital is not there as per the international standard of business, the capital adequacy is not maintained, means banks cannot borrow, banks cannot lend. So it's a very tricky situation. So the banks will not be able to do any of those things. Banks, Government of India can give the money, and then indirectly they can squeeze the people, public in the next budget. This is the only way to handle it actually. So banks will be, country will be, the government also will be very cautious not to give any larger incentives because tax revenues are poor. They cannot additionally tax the people. Tax revenues are 23% or 24% less than last year. GST 1 lakh crores is the per month expectation, but it is much less amount is being collected. So it's a very tricky situation. And people with huge reserves and wealth like US, they can afford to do that. India is finding it difficult to do that. Yes.
Okay, sir. There is another question from Abhirami Kavita.
Yeah.
So what will happen if the unemployment increases and how does it affect the future generation?
Now, unemployment generation is definitely unemployment will be this coming next few years. It will be little difficult. There is no doubt about it. The unemployment will be there. But then the only solution is you stand out. Anyway, we need people. Banks need people because people are retiring. Somebody has to be there. So the selection processes will be becoming tougher and the number of people, new recruits will be coming down. So the brilliant among them will have more chances. So you have to study hard, work hard, and the strongest and the fittest only will be able to get into the good jobs. But at the same time, these kind of situations, our unemployment rate at one stage was much worse than this. You go 10 years or 15 years back, the unemployment in Kerala and today is totally different. Today, everybody has some kind of a job, all youngsters. Either there will be a salesman for the telecom companies or for the medical representatives or some sales people, or they may be running an Uber company or running an Uber car, or there will be a messenger or a person who goes for delivery boys for the Swiggy. So many kind of new jobs are coming. So every year, everything, the patterns will change. But at the same time, there will not be a situation, that type of secured job concept is slowly going to go. That is why even contract labor will be becoming more. Contract laborers, little more protection will be there. But all the protection slowly in the wage, higher and higher will be becoming the rule of the day within another 5 years. There is no doubt. Whether it is Congress government or BJP government, whoever is going to come, ultimately they have to implement all these things. Second is, all the government-owned companies, they will find it unviable. Government cannot run a hotel, but at the same time, somebody else will be able to run a hotel in a much better way, a private organization. Government is not allowed to run an industry. There are so many industries in Kerala which are locked out and it is the government owned, but quite a lot of private companies are doing well. Government cannot own banks because many of the banks have been running in losses, but new generation banks are making profits. So basically, the entrepreneurship is something which is, it is not a bureaucrat's job. So generally, all these government kind of companies will slowly die down. Some of them will be sold. Air India is in the sale for the last 4 years. Nobody is there is no buyer is there for that. So many good companies are on sale, owned by the government. They will dilute their their shareholdings. Even all the nationalized banks, they are going for fresh issue of shares. Now, nobody will buy their share now. That's why they are waiting for little more better days. Then the government ownership will come down to 51%, just 51%. That's the nationalization. The minimum is 51%. But slowly, people like quite a lot of economists have started talking, why the hell we should have a 51% of the government? Why not 49%? So that private sector entrepreneurs can be in the board who will have a majority. They can do much more profitable kind of a business. So the concept in Kerala or India is already changed. Kerala is having a lot of resistance to those. Many people used to ask me when I was working in the bank, our own officers will ask in the first session of our induction program, I will ask some have you got any doubts, etc. At least every class there will be one or two people who ask me, sir, when will be our bank nationalized? Because bank nationalized means it's like owned by the government, fully secured job. No worry. You will be if you die, your relation will be your close relative, wife or children will be getting an employment. You will be getting a pension till you die. These are the concepts. But today, slowly that thinking is going. There is no kind of there is no question of a nationalization. The question is only of denationalization. So whatever has earlier 14 banks were private banks which were nationalized in 1969. Then another 20 banks were, another 6 were nationalized in 1980. And these 20 banks, they will be going back to private hands in another, it's a matter of time. No doubt, whatever is the government, now then some LIC news is coming on my screen. So even LIC is going to be, state government, they are going for a public issue. At least the state, the 10% stake will be taken this year or next year. For a private partnership, you or me will be a shareholder in LIC. So slowly that will, the next year they will increase it to 10 to 20%. So the government, but the best way US is doing is that let us do the business of governance. Not governments cannot do the business of doing business. They are not capable of doing that. Why KSRTC failed? Is it not because passengers are not there? So there are so many kind of tourism business run by hotels, run by the Kerala government. How can the tourism will be there when 5 o'clock somebody leaves and there is a strike every other day? So it's going to be, the concept has to change. We have to learn the realities. Tomorrow is going to be a private ownership world. We have to be a part of it. We have to work hard. When we work hard, we will be always been compensated. If there is a firing is there, we will be hired by somebody else at a bigger salary. So that concept, which is there in the Western country, is slowly coming to India also. Whether I like it or not, or you like it or not, this is going to be a reality. And governments has funds starved till today, and they will be going on selling many of their assets they have created over the years, like LIC or nationalized banks or even some public sector undertakings who are already in profits. All these reversals will take place because the days of socialistic pattern of government ownership is no more relevant in the new world. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Due to time constraint, we are winding up the question and answer session. So we were listening to a very detailed outlook on performance of the financial system, the potential implication of COVID-19 on the banking sector, and measures to shore up the liquidity were all well explained. And we are so much obliged to you, sir, for the lucid presentation and patiently addressing all questions raised by our participants. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay.
Next, I invite Assistant Professor Vidya Nair to deliver the vote of thanks.
Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Abraham Tarian, former Executive Director, South Indian Bank Limited, respected Principal, Dr. K.K. John, our most valued rank holders, management members of St. Kitts Group of Professional Institutions, PTA Executive members, members of Alumni Association, my dear colleagues, and my dear students. It's my privilege to have been given this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion. Let me begin with a big thank you to Sri Abraham Tarian, former Executive Director, South Indian Bank Limited, for accepting our invitation to give away cash awards to the rank holders and enlightening us by leading the webinar on financial system in the post-COVID scenario in India with a special reference to banking system. Sir, please accept a bouquet of gratitude offered by the St. Kitts family. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Dr. K.K. John, our principal, for his charismatic leadership, which is really an inspiration to each and every one of us. Thank you, sir, for your valuable guidance and presence and also the inspiring welcome speech. Let me extend our sincere gratitude to Mr. Thomas T. John, Director, St. Kitts Group of Professional Institutions, for his leadership and guidance. I can't go ahead without expressing our gratitude to Engineer Punus George, Executive Chairman and Secretary, St. Kitts Group of Professional Institutions, who has enlightened our minds through his untiring efforts. I express our sincere thanks to Professor M.C. Joseph, Associate Director of SCAS, for receiving cash awards for the rank holders. I express our gratitude and appreciation to our 22 rank holders. I'm also very grateful to Ms. Rashmi Susan Jacob, Academic Coordinator, Corporate Economics, and IQSC Coordinator, Assistant Professor Anu Zakaria, for initiating a wonderful webinar. I also extend my thanks to the Technical Secretary, Assistant Professor Filson Philip, and supporting faculties, Assistant Professor Shijin Skaria, Assistant Professor Preeta Thomas, and Assistant Professor Arun Padmanabhan. And we also would like to acknowledge our gratitude to PTA executive members, members of Alumni Association, all HODs, all the members of the teaching and non-teaching staff, and our beloved students. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to those who have directly or indirectly involved in this program to make it a grand success. Thank you all once again.
Now we have come to the end of the session. Thank you all. You can find the feedback link in the chat box. Have a nice day. Thank you, sir.